Hello children, welcome to your English lesson once again. Today we are going to read and understand a simple folk story. While doing that, we are also going to practice some reading skills. We are going to learn how to extract specific information, general information, as well as implied information from a text. I'm sure you have learned many stories. I'm sure you have listened to stories and also read many stories. Today, this is the story you are going to read with me. Can you see what it is? It's the treasure in the vineyard. The treasure in the vineyard. Children, do you know what a treasure means? A treasure is something very, very valuable. It's like a lot of money, gems, or even jewelry. Okay, what is a vineyard? Can you guess the meaning of the word vineyard by looking at this picture? A vineyard is a plantation of grapes. Let me show you a picture of a real plantation of grapes. Can you see the bunches of grapes here? Okay, so today we are going to read about a treasure in a vineyard. I have divided the story into different parts so that it's easy for you to read the story. We'll start with the first part. Now in this part, you have only one thing to keep in your mind. When you read this part, remember, I want you to understand the setting of the story and also to identify the characters of the story. We'll start reading. Right, children? Now you have read the first part of the story. Now you know the setting and now you know the characters in the story. Now I want you to do a small activity here. Let's look at the activity. Now here on this slide, I have given you 3 statements. I want you to read these 3 statements and decide whether they are true or false based on the first part you have already read. To make it easier, I have given the statements and the story together in one slide. Okay, now it's your time to read the statements and indicate whether they are true or false. Right, children. Now let's check the answers. Let's read the first statement. It says, the farmer owned a large plantation of grapes. Now, could you find that piece of information here? Yes, if you had read the very first sentence, you see it says, once there lived a farmer who had a vast vineyard. By now you know the meaning of the word vineyard. A vineyard is a plantation of grapes. Do you know the meaning of the word vast here? What does it say? Vast means large. So what can you say about the first statement? The farmer owned a large plantation of grapes. Yes, you're correct. It's true. Now what about the second one? The farmer had 2 hard-working sons. Did you find that piece of information here? Yes, it's there in the second sentence. This farmer had 2 lazy sons. So it's correct that he had 2 sons. But what about the adjective used here, children? In your statement, the sons are hardworking. But in the story, they are not hardworking. They are lazy sons. So lazy is the direct opposite of hardworking. So what can you say about the second statement now? It's false. So let's read the third one now. The sons like to learn how to grow grapes from their father. The sons like to learn. Could you find that piece of information here? Yes, you are correct. It's in the last part. See? Although the father was eager to teach the boys how to care for the grapes, they were never interested in learning. You see, my children, now never means no. So here it is the sons like to learn. But here they were never interested in learning. That shows they did not like to learn from their father. So what can you say about this third statement? Yes, it is false. So let's check the answers. The answers should come like this. The first one is true. The second and the third are false. Okay, now you have already read the first part of the story. Now you are going to read the second part. But this time, as you are already familiar with the characters and the setting of the story, I am going to give you another purpose too. Now this is what you are going to do. I have given you 3 questions here. Look at the 3 questions. All 3 questions have WH question words. So they expect you to find specific information. Now remember, children, when you are looking for specific information, you are not going to copy a chunk from the passage or your story and write as your answer. You have to find the very specific information. Remember, it's going to be 1 word or even 2 or 3 words. Now these are the 3 questions, and this is going to be the next part of the story. Read the story. Don't worry. I'm going to give you the story and the questions together in my next slide. Just read the story and pay attention to the picture too. Okay, my next slide, it's the questions and the story. Here we go. You can try now. I'm sure you could finish the activity very soon because you read this part of the story twice. Let's check the answers now. What about the first question? Who was seriously ill? Who was seriously ill? Could you find the answer? Yes, it's there in the very first line. It is there as one day the father came down with a serious illness. So what is the answer? Who was seriously ill? Yes, it's the father. So children, remember, when you write your answer, you only have to copy the part, the father, into your answer script. But even if you write the word father only here, it will be accepted as correct if you are facing an exam. Now let's look at the second one. The second question. Whom did the farmer call for? Whom did the farmer call for? Could you find the information? Yes, it is there in the second sentence. Let's see. It says, when he was on his deathbed, he called for his sons to leave his last words. So children, what is the answer now? It's his sons. His sons is the answer. Now remember, in this situation, if you just write the answer as sons, it is very, very vague because it doesn't say whose sons. So it's better to use this pronoun his as well. Better to say his sons. Now let's pay attention to the third question. What had the farmer hidden in the vineyard? Now children, do you know the meaning of this word hidden? What is meant by the word hidden? It's the past participle of the word hide. Hide, hid, hidden. Hide is to keep something somewhere so that the other people can't find it. So now here, what had the farmer hidden in the vineyard? Could you find the answer? Let's check. See, I hid a treasure in our vineyard for both of you. So what is the answer? A treasure. Now in this situation also, if you omit the article a and write just treasure, it will be accepted in this context. But remember children, always try to write your answers with the determiner or the adjective or the article that comes in front of it. Okay, now let's move on to the next part. This time the activity is different. Let's see. Okay, now you are going to guess what happened next in this story. You all like to read stories. So when you are reading stories, your mind starts working. You want to know what happens next. Right. Now here's your opportunity. You are going to guess what happened next. Children, I have given some guidelines. I have given 4 sentences. First one says, father died. Second one says, the 2 sons went in search of the treasure. And the third one says, they found the treasure buried in the ground. And the last one says, they did not find the treasure buried in the ground. So children, as you can see, the third and the fourth are alternatives. So if you decide that they found the treasure buried in the ground, you can leave out the fourth one. And if your guess is the fourth one, you can easily leave out the third one. So children, you don't have to do anything with this. I mean, you're not going to copy this. What you are going to do is, based on these, you guess the next part of the story. Remember, to do that, you need to recall what happened earlier. And also you need to combine the previous part of the story with the things that you already know, your worldly knowledge. Let me help you to recall what happened in the story so far. Remember who was there in the story? Yes, there is a father and he is a farmer. And this farmer has 2 sons. He also has a large vineyard. What can you say about the 2 sons? Yes, these 2 sons are very lazy and they did not want to learn from the father how to grow grapes. Okay, and then what happened to this poor father? He became very ill. What happened? So he called his 2 sons and he wanted to give them an advice. Do you remember what he told the 2 sons? Yes, he told the 2 sons that he had hidden a treasure. Where is it? In the vineyard. Okay, you know these things. Now let's see how you guess the next part. Take only 1 minute. Use your imagination. Think. Okay children, here is the next part. Now I want you to see whether this is what you actually guessed or what actually happened in the story. Shall we read this part together? After he passed away, the 2 sons went to search for the treasure, but it was not easy finding the treasure that was buried in the vineyard. How in the world are we going to find the treasure here? They thought. They continued to dig day and night. However, there was still no treasure. I hope you guessed correct. What has happened to the father? If you look at the first line, you see that after he passed away. Now remember, children, passed away is another way of saying that someone had died. So if you had guessed it correct, the father had died. What helped you to guess this correct? One is that he was on his deathbed. The word deathbed and also the word, yes, his last words. Those words might have helped you to guess. Let's look at the second piece of information. It says that the sons went searching for the treasure. Let's see how it is there in the story. Yes, the two sons went to search for the treasure. It's natural. Using your worldly knowledge, you can guess that very easily, that the sons would go in search of the treasure after the father's death. What about the third one? Did they find the treasure or did they not find it? Yes, it's there in this part. However, there was still no treasure. So there had been a problem. We still don't know what it is. They could not find the treasure the father was talking about. Okay, we'll have to read more to find out what happened. But before that, children, how did these two brothers look for the treasure? What did they do? You can see that in the sentence before the last one. They continued to dig day and night. Do you know the meaning of the word dig? Here in this picture, the two brothers are digging. I know it's not clear. Let me show you the picture. See, the two brothers are digging and they have shovels in their hands. Digging. Dig is to turn the soil over or remove the soil from the ground. So see what they are doing. Tell me, what happens to a plantation if you turn the soil over? Yes, your guess is correct. The plantation will, or the plants will grow better when you dig. So we'll see what happened to this plantation. The brothers had been continuously digging. Let's read the next part and see. When you read this part, you can see what had happened. The plantation had gifted them back the big and juicy grapes. So this is the result of digging of these two brothers. Okay, children, you have an activity here. I want you to read the same part once again and find what these words refer to in the text. I have given you 3 words. These, them, they. As you have read this once, I know you can do it very quickly. Okay, let's check your answers. What about the first one, these? Now you see, to find the answer to this, you need to go back to the previous sentence. These. Come here and look at these. Now here these refer to big and juicy grapes. Remember, children, now here even if you write juicy grapes or just the word grapes, it will be accepted in an exam paper. Okay, what about the second one? Them. Now here the answer is not directly here. You need to recall the previous parts. So one of them here refers to one of the brothers. Or even if you say one of the sons, it is accepted as the correct answer. Okay, last one, they. They are sweet as honey too. So what does that refer to? They here refers to grapes once again. So your answers are like these. Let me give you one tip here. All the three pronouns I have selected here are in plural form. These, them, they. So when you find answers, you need to find nouns which are also in plural form. For example, these refer to grapes, them, brothers or sons, they, again grapes, all in plural form. Now, if I have something singular here, for example, like it, you will have to find a noun with a singular form. Okay. Now, I'm sure you are waiting to read the last part of the story. Now, this is the last part. Read and see. Okay, one more activity with that. Now, here you have to read the same part once again and write a word from the given text which is closest in meaning to the words given here. I have given two words. One is work and the other one is benefits. I'm sure you can find the answers very quickly. Okay, let's check your answers. Now look at the very first word. It says work. So what is the answer? Labor. Okay, so if you read this sentence replacing the word labor with the word work, it should seem correct there. Shall we do that? He was trying to show us how to enjoy the fruits of our hard work. So it seems correct. What about the second one? What is the word I have given here? Benefits. Benefit, benefits. Benefit is singular and benefits is plural. So you definitely have to find some answer or a noun with a plural form here. Did you find the answer? Yes, as you can see, it is rewards. Let's read the sentence replacing rewards with the word benefits. From that day onwards, the brothers understood the rewards of hard work. Okay, one more activity from the same text. So this time I'm not going to give you much reading time. Read the question. Write the sentence which says that the two brothers were very happy. Quickly pick the sentence. Yes, I know. You don't have to read very far. The answer is there in the very first sentence. What does it say? The two sons were overjoyed and jumped with excitement. Remember, children, now when you have to find the sentence which says some particular piece of information, you have to copy the complete sentence here. Now, if you write only half of the sentence, for example, if you write the two sons were overjoyed and stop there, you are not going to get marks at the exam. You need to complete it from the beginning to the end until you see the full stop. Okay, with that, we have finished reading the story. But I want to show you another activity that can come in your papers. Now, this is a summary version of the same story. As I'm not going to give you much time to do this, if you want, you can take a photograph of this and try this later. See, I have given a summary here. But I have taken out 10 words from the story. And those 10 words are there. I have jumbled them and they are in this box over there. And what you have to do is, you have to rewrite this story, filling the blanks with the most suitable word from those in this box. Okay, children, these are the answers. With that, we have come to the end of today's lesson. But remember, children, before that, I want to tell you something more. Look at this. I want you to identify the moral of this story. Here, I have given 3. Select the moral of this story from the 3 given here. To do this, you need to have a general idea of the complete story. Yes, you are correct. The secret of success is working hard. Yes, the secret of success is working hard. Keep that in your mind. Goodbye.
Hello children, glad to see you one more time with another interesting lesson, and today we are going to learn how to write a short personal note. Let's get started. Right, now you make sure that you copy this grid onto your notebook. We are going to start this lesson with a small activity, and also I would like to remind you that today's lesson we are going to make use of the workbook, so please make sure that you are seated right in front of your TV sets with your workbook in hand. Right? Okay, look at this grid here and observe it carefully and see what you can see there. I'm going to show you a note in a short while, and you're going to read the note and derive all this information from the note itself. We have the date, that is the first column, the sender, receiver, and the message. You know who a sender and a receiver is. A sender is the person who sends the message, and the receiver is obviously the person who's receiving the message. Right, are you ready to read the note? Remember these titles, remember the facts you have to derive from the note. Keep that in mind, and I'm going to the next slide now. Here's the note. Read it very carefully and see what information you have to derive from this note. Let me remind you the date, sender, receiver, and the message. Read it very carefully. I can help you with that. 2nd May 2020. Prasad, I can't come to school today as I'm sick. I'm sending my English assignment with this. Please hand it over to our English teacher. Ravindu. You can see where Ravindu's name is, so it's clear that Ravindu is the one who has written the note in order to convey a message to Prasad. Hope your grid is full now. Let's check that out. Right. The date, 2nd May 2020. You're right. Sender, Ravindu. And the note is received by Prasad. And the messages go as this. Not coming to school today. Sick. Hand over the assignment to the English teacher. There is a reason he's giving why he's not in school, and also he's making a request as well. Right. Let's discuss this further. This is the note. And when you observe these children, you can clearly understand that we have written only the date here. Usually, when you write a letter, you know that we include the sender's address there. If it is a formal letter, an official letter, you include even the receiver's address there. But here we don't see the address. We have only the date. Right? So these are things which you have to remember when you write a note. because notes are written between people who are known to each other very closely, maybe between two friends, family members, likewise. So we always keep it less formal. Let's observe this. This is how the date appears. Let's move on to the next word, Prasad. Here we are not writing my dear friend Prasad or dear Prasad. Nothing is needed because Prasad is a very good friend of Ravindu's. So as soon as Prasad reads this note, he knows that, okay, this is from my buddy, from my friend. So Prasad will not feel bad because Ravindu has not written dear or whatever in front of his name. So this is the speciality of a note, right? And the message. You know that there is so much Ravindu is trying to convey, but everything is put in a nutshell. I mean, everything is said briefly. I can't come to school today as I'm sick. I'm sending my English assignment with this. Please hand it over to our English teacher. He's not asking, how are you doing? How is everyone at home? Have you done the homework? Why didn't you? Nothing is asked. Just the message is conveyed. Okay, keep everything in mind. Okay. And also, when Ravindu is signing, he has signed only his name, not even his surname, because when he says Ravindu, Prasad obviously knows it is Ravindu, his best friend or his close friend or his classmate. He doesn't have to write Ravindu Ratnaik or Ravindu Fernando to show who he is, right? Okay. And another fact you have to remember here is, children, use of contracted forms. You don't have to say, I cannot come or I am sick. You can simply say, I can't come and I'm sick. You can jolly well use the contracted forms or short forms when you're writing notes. All right, now I'm going to test your memory. Look at this format. See whether you can fill these boxes. Recall the grid I gave you earlier. What should come inside this one? Remember? And what goes there? Okay, in the middle and here. Just 4 facts which you have to bring in together in order to write your note. Just a simple task, children. I hope you were able to recall whatever we discussed a few minutes ago. And I hope your grid is filled now. Let's check that out. Yes, date, receiver, message, and the sender. So this is the structure you have to keep in mind so that it will be easier for you to gain more marks when it comes for your O-level examination, because this is one of the easiest questions you find in your question paper. Right. We have some more work now. Let's see how we are going to prepare yourself when you see a question in your O-level examination paper. I would like to give you a few tips, children. You just ask these 2 questions as soon as you read your question. To whom? What do you write? Remember, to whom? What do you write? Okay, this is how your question is going to appear. Read it carefully and see whether you can find answers to these 2 questions. Imagine you want your friend Meena to join you to see a book exhibition tomorrow. Write a note to her asking her to join you to see the exhibition. Remember the last sentence, give your friend a time and a place to meet you. Even though this is one of the easiest questions and it is a short piece of writing, remember to include whatever you are expected to include. Otherwise, you will definitely lose marks. Okay? Right. Right. The question starts with the word imagine. So it's better if you can imagine the situation. Think about it. What is happening here? Right? You want your friend Meena to join. Not anyone else, Meena to join. For what? To see the exhibition tomorrow. Fine. And then what are you supposed to do now? You have to ask her to join you. Okay. And when? And what time? If you don't tell her, Meena might not turn up. So please make sure to give her a correct time and a place so that she can easily meet you and you both can enjoy the exhibition. Right, so keep everything in mind and we'll see how we are going to put all this into words and write the short note. Right, to whom? Meena, correct. What do you write? You want her to join you to see a book exhibition tomorrow, correct? And the two important questions, what time and where to meet. And you know what? In this type of questions, you always have a few clues hidden inside the question. If you look at this question and if you focus onto these underlined phrases, you can understand the clues. You can make use of them when you are freshly writing your note. Okay? Right. So I have made this slide for you as a practice with a few blanks and also the answer clues. So please take your time and see whether you can copy this down onto your notebook and fill the blanks. Remember the format I showed you. What comes first? Meena's name is already there. We have another name here, that is Dasni. So if Meena's name is already there, you know where Dasni's name should go. And also the rest of the words. Read it carefully, recall the question, and you'll be able to fit in these words perfectly to this note. I can give you a few minutes to just go through this, copy this down and fill the blanks. It seems quite easy, isn't it? Bus stand, 3rd May, you can add the year 2020, 10 a.m, Dasni, book exhibition. I know you're getting it right. Let's check it out. Yes, 3rd May 2020. Meena, I'm going to see a book exhibition tomorrow. Join me. Come to the bus stand at 10 a.m. Dasni. That is how simple it is. Right. It's not over. We have a few more tasks to complete. Right. I told you at the beginning of this lesson to be ready with your workbooks. Hope you have your workbooks in hand. So please go to Unit 6, Activity 8. And you see this very question in your page. Please read it silently and I can help you. I can also read with you. Let's read it together. Your class teacher has informed the class that grade 11 students have to sign the application forms for the GCE O-level examination tomorrow. Your best friend is absent and is not aware of the fact. Write a note informing him or her about it. How are you going to do it? Yes, recall those questions. To whom are you writing? What are you writing? And what are you going to include in your note? Let's read it again. Your class teacher has informed the class that the grade 11 students have to sign the application forms for the GCE O-level examination tomorrow. Your best friend is absent. Right? I'm emphasizing on that so that you can work on it. Okay, quickly jot down the clues. Okay, we can leisurely put it together and write the note. Okay, look at this highlighted sentence here. I told you earlier that these type of questions always have some clues hidden inside it. If you read it carefully, you can just take the sentence just like that and use it as it is. So you have to be clever enough to find that out. Okay, grade 11 students have to sign the application forms for the GCE O-level examination tomorrow and your best friend is absent. Right? Sometimes they don't tell you what you have to include. You have to be clever enough to include that as well. Your friend is absent. So what are you going to tell your friend? Think about it. Can give you some time to work out your note. Recall the structure, the format I showed you. Try your best. I don't think you have to spend much time with this work because it's quite an easy task, a very simple task. Yes, I have used two random names. You can use any name you like, Kalana and Kalum. 2nd May 2020, any appropriate date you can use. Right, look at it. As I told you, I have used the exact sentence from the question. The grade 11 students have to sign the application forms for the GCE O-level examination tomorrow. Okay, that very sentence was taken from the question itself, children. And then this is what I have included, because I told you that your friend is absent. So what I'm doing is I'm asking the friend to come to school tomorrow. So you have to come to school tomorrow, or you can simplify it. You can say be present in school tomorrow, or you can also say don't get absent tomorrow. Okay, anything you can say to that effect, but make sure you are going to say it briefly, because this is a note. It can't be lengthy, right? Okay, so this is activity 1, and then I think you have another activity. Let's check that out as well, children. Yes, the more we write, the more we practice, the more you get familiar with this task, so that you are going to be, very cool about this question when you face your O-level examination paper. Okay, right. This is activity 9. A friend of yours has invited you to his or her birthday party. Write a note thanking him or her for the invitation. Express regret for not being able to attend the party. Give a reason. Read it carefully. There is so much you have to include. Briefly though. Okay, please go back to the slides I showed you. Recall them. Recall the structure, the format, and remember what you have to derive from this question. To whom are you writing? What are you writing? What you should include, whether it is necessary or not. Let me read it for you one more time. A friend of yours has invited you to his or her birthday party. Write a note thanking him or her for the invitation. 1. Express regret for not being able to attend the party. 2. Give a reason. 3. Are you going to include only these 3? Make use of your common sense. Your friend has invited you for his or her birthday party. Keep that in mind. So this is how you have to be clever enough to read the question and understand what else you can include in the note to make it a complete note. Right? I can give you some time to draft your note. You can include a date, any interesting names as you wish. You can jolly well use your name as well. You have already written one complete note and another task with fill in the blank activity. So I don't think that this activity is going to be difficult and it is going to take much time. And I can feel that you have now got interested in this particular activity, and I'm sure that you can't wait to see your O-level examination paper. Okay, let's see how it comes out. Right, 3rd May 2020. This time it's Shan and Suren. Suren writes to Shan. Shan, thanks for the invitation, but I'm sorry I can't come as we have planned to visit our grandparents. Anyways, wish you a very happy birthday. Did you notice the contracted forms here? I can't. And also here, even though the question doesn't ask you to wish your friend a happy birthday, you use your common sense and you do wish your friend a happy birthday. So the note becomes a complete note. Right? I read it one more time. Shan, thanks for the invitation, but I'm sorry I can't come as we have planned to visit our grandparents. Anyway, wish you a very happy birthday, Suren. Okay, children, we have come to the end of today's lesson. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me recap it for you. Okay, remember what we did at the beginning of the lesson? I showed you a grid, and remember those 4 facts you have to include in a note: date, sender, receiver, and the message. And also remember that a note is quite informal. Therefore, you don't make it official with a salutation or address or anything else, right? And always make sure that you keep it short. Whatever you write briefly. Whatever the message you are putting across or you are conveying to the other party should be clear. Even though it is short, you have to be very careful and tactful enough to make it clear as well, right? And remember, as soon as you read the question, to imagine the situation in your mind and also ask the question, to whom are you writing and what are you supposed to write? And after writing, please read it again and see whether you have included every single information which you are supposed to include in the note, and also make sure that you have not written anything extra. Okay, children, I really enjoyed this time with you and I hope you did so too. And until I meet you once again with another interesting English lesson, I wind up, I say goodbye and be safe, stay blessed. Thank you.